Hi everybody, welcome back. Okay, one of the things I want to talk about this week, basically just because I think it's funny, and if at all true, then also plain stupid. So what am I talking about? Well, allegedly, apparently, the first feud or ill feeling between Catherine and Meghan started in 2017 over London designer Erden Moralioglu. You see, there is a family hierarchy when it comes to the royals and who has first dibs on a designer. Allegedly, Catherine had been a long-time fan, and on the screen you will see pictures and dates of Catherine in Erdem outfits. However, allegedly, Meghan was also a fan of Erdem, and she wore a couple of Erdem outfits while working on suits. Again, watch the screen. However, even after Harry and Meghan got engaged, Catherine continued to get priority, and it became an issue, apparently, allegedly, between the two of them, and allegedly, Meghan stopped wearing Erdem for a few years. Now, seriously, guys, I have no idea whether this is actually true, but of course, there would be a hierarchy, and it would go across the board, and it would apply to any member of the royal family and any designer. Designer would have closed the doors in Catherine's face had the Queen showed up. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. Today, Camilla would get first choice or first dibs, and should, say, Catherine or anyone else in the family decide to use the same designer, their appointment will come after Camilla's. It is as simple as that. But of course, not for Meghan. She always has to be first or equal. Anyway, I don't know how Meghan felt about having to stand back for Catherine and not to have the first choice or first option or first dibs, or whether they even noticed, because both of them make use of different designers all the time. And besides, in my humble opinion, Erdem is not worth arguing about. I actually went to the trouble to go to their website and study them, and I have to give them a little credit. Their 2023 spring and summer dresses are okay, and it's a vast improvement from other stuff I've seen. Well, at least some of them. But let's instead look at Catherine in Erdem and tell you what I like and I don't like and why. And as some of you will know, I did work as a seamstress for a couple of years, so I do have an idea of what I'm talking about. One of the worst outfits I have ever seen Catherine in was indeed a dress from Erdem. It was at a black-tie dinner in Sweden in 2018. The dress was made from silk satin. Now, my friends, I may be ignorant because I live in the Bunde, but I've worked with silk and I've worked with satin, and satin comes in the softer, thinner, more expensive satin, and then the thicker, stiffer, cheaper satin. Okay? But I've worked with the cheap satin, I've worked with the expensive satin, and I've worked with silk. And I have never heard of a silk satin. Yes, satin can look like silk, or silk can look like satin, but it's actually different fabrics. Okay? The whole process of manufacturing the fabric, if you go and Google it, is vastly different. So I've never heard of a silk satin. But anyway, maybe it's something new. So, to read the short version of the description of the dress, and it sounds like this. The dress was made from silk satin with a high neck, ruffled placket and collar, gathers at the shoulders, a tiered skirt, and a sash. Whew! Now guys, if you get out of breath reading the abbreviated description of a dress, you can bet that there's something wrong. The first obvious thing being that it is over the top, too much. And indeed, this dress was. Allegedly, Catherine chose the gold color as a nod to the Swedish flag, but the floral print came across as something which would likely have looked better as curtaining or upholstery, and that ruffled collar, which is a stark reminder of old-fashioned nightclothes or nighties. And then to run those ruffles down the front of the dress over such a very busy printed fabric is way too much. The rule is, if you wish to add detail, keep your fabric simple and plain. If your fabric is boldly printed or patterned, then keep your design simple. Never have an intricate design with an intricately printed fabric. Never. The same applies to the gathers at the shoulders, the tiered sleeve, the tiered skirt. It's too much onto a busy, bold dress. It's too much onto a busy, bold print. Oh my word. And the stitching. When adding a ruffle or tier to a skirt, the stitching should never cause it to bulge out. If you need to do some top stitching or under stitching to keep it flat, then do it. Absolutely everything about this dress was just awful. If Catherine took off her jewelry, removed the sash, and loosened her hair, the dress would 100% have doubled for a nightie. And maybe it did, because we never saw her in that dress again. Now, I'm not going to do what I just did and critique every Erdem outfit Catherine ever wore, but I'm just going to instead categorize them into no, okay, and yeah, quite nice, okay? So I'm going to keep quiet for a while and I'll just show you. Okay, and then someone said to me, yeah, but you know, you're talking about that yellow dress, but you must remember that Catherine was pregnant. Okay, fine, but during the same time, on the same tour in 2018, Catherine also wore an Alexander McQueen dress in Norway. So I'm going to put the two next to each other, and then you can compare the style, the class, the stitching, the overall look, and you can tell me which one you think is better. Obviously, I find the Alexander McQueen dress far more classy, lots more style, correct fabric for the correct style, etc., and there's no obvious stitching errors. Then I'm also going to compare the Erdem blue satin dress that Catherine wore before to a Jenny Peckham. And the reason why I'm comparing these two dresses, this Erdem and this particular Jenny Peckham, is because they priced more or less the same. I think there was like £1,000 or £500 difference. Again, just by using your eyes, and we're not inspecting the dress, but just looking at the dress. The one is way more suitable for Catherine than the other one. The stitching, the whole entire style is a lot more regal and well-fitting than the other one. Unfortunately, the truth. Okay, so now let's look at Meghan in Erdem outfits. Well, this one is not too bad, but now you must remember, I love a maxi dress. Again, I'm not too fond of the ruffles, but overall the dress is not too bad. I do feel the skirt is a bit heavy for the top half of the dress, but it's utterly acceptable. But now, let's look at this disaster Meghan wore in March 2019 when she appeared at Canada House in this Erdem creation. It is indeed a green tweed dress and coat, and here I have to ask, what is not wrong with the outfit? Firstly, the fabric is too thick. and too heavy for a set, as in a dress and a coat, to wear the one over the other. It looks stiff and very, very itchy. And oh my goodness, those lace cutouts stitched on top of the coat. It looks like something I would have done years ago to hide mistakes. Yes, I've sewn a piece of lace over a spot where I nipped the fabric while cutting a thread. It happened, but never on purpose. And this was on purpose. And it looks cheap and it looks amateurish. Erdem proudly presented the outfit as from their winter 2019 collection. Now, I would have hidden it somewhere until I turned it into a cushion cover or a sling bag or something. Anyway, now, who can forget this monstrosity? This black brocade dress is the kind of garment one just does not know what to say about, because something is not right. Something is off. It does not look right. But you don't know exactly what is wrong with the dress. Maybe it just doesn't suit the person wearing it. But maybe it's the fabric. Maybe it's the length. Maybe it's the belt. Maybe it's the neckline. Maybe it's all of it, or the combination of it. Maybe the neckline would have looked okay. Maybe the neckline would have passed if the dress was an inch longer. You know, maybe this, maybe that. All I can say is that my grandmother would not have been seen dead in that dress, no matter whose funeral she was attending. Anyway, seriously folks, if these two women were experiencing any kind of jealousy or rivalry over Erdem, I would suggest they stop and look at themselves in Erdem outfits and go off and see another designer. Erdem is a hit and miss brand. They do have the odd pretty frock on their website, but they have a tendency to mismatch the style or the detail with the fabric. The stitching is not always top-notch, and the designer seems a little stuck in the wrong era and cannot always judge fabric as to, for instance, whether it's suitable for day wear or evening wear. Shiny fabrics for day wear was indeed popular in the time of Mae West and Marilyn Monroe, and it made a brief reappearance in the 80s. The other thing is this frilled waist, as in Catherine's Commonwealth Day outfit, dates back to the late 40s or early 50s, and it made the odd reappearance in the 80s. The thing with it is that you have to be very, very precise as to where your nipped waist is. Because if you miss your client's waist, it looks odd and uncomfortable, and your client looks awkward and out of shape. The same goes for the top stitching. Be careful. Be very, very careful when applying top stitching. If you can't be 100% accurate and precise and neat, then do it in the same color as the outfit, or not at all. Okay, so that is my seamstress wisdom for the year. I haven't touched this sewing machine in about 2 years. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was just a bit of fun. And with all due respect to Erdem, I'm not a fan. I'm sorry, guys. I think they need to be less blasé and more proud and more precise. And I think the designers need a year-long stay in France for style tips. In my opinion, Erdem clothing are for the young, younger than 25, okay, that group. And then for those older than 65. I think the naughty 40s like Catherine and Meghan should stay away from the Erdem look, okay? Just my opinion. You know, 40s is basically a nice time to discover your own style. You have a bit more confidence, play around with things. You know, your figure is still likely relatively okay, and you're more energetic, so you can show it through your outfits. Erdem does not give me that kind of sense or that kind of aura, and I don't know, I would say mid-30s to mid-50s, stay away from Erdem. Again, don't come shoot the messenger. This is just purely my opinion. That's how I see it, and that is how I judge it according to my taste. Okay, so like I said, just a fun video. I'll be back later with one far more serious. So until then, please take good care of yourself. Bye.